SC21 is drawing to a close, but the planning for SC22 is well underway. We'll get a preview from the SC22 General Chair next. Welcome to SC21 TV. I'm your host, Charla Bokikio. We are live at the SC21 TV news desk, meeting leaders in the world of high-performance computing. With me now is the General Chair of SC22, Candace Culhane. Welcome, Candy. How are you doing?
Great.
Good.
It's good to be here.
How has the conference overall been for you this year? I know you've probably got a lot of
wonderful,
hats.
Wonderful. I'm so happy to be out of my little box and with people and walking around and making connections and really just enjoying being with people, all while practicing safety protocols.
Absolutely, and that's just part of our world now, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I assume you participated last year in the virtual.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was the panel's chair.
Yeah. How was that experience?
Well, it was a learning experience. We all had to suddenly become experts with Zoom links and coordination and video feeds, but it was fun. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
At least it was able to happen still.
Yes. Oh, I'm tremendously grateful to the SC20 chair, Christine Quickie, and her whole team. They really pulled it off. Yeah. It was great.
So moving forward, here we go, right? So you just announced at the SC20, you just announced the SC22 preview this morning, and that it will be in Dallas.
Yes.
So you seem really excited about it. Tell us why. What are you excited about for next year?
Sure. Well, thanks, Charla, for having me on the show.
Yeah, of course.
And I really am excited about SC22 going to Dallas. Since SC was last in Dallas 4 years ago, the city has grown at a tremendous rate. That has brought so many changes that we can take advantage of as SC22 attendees. The most notable change is the AT&T Discovery Center. This is a new downtown destination where tech, culture, and entertainment combine to create really unique experiences. It's just 3 blocks from the convention center. And while there's cool tech in the art and digital displays, most importantly for our SC attendees, there are a lot of restaurants and outdoor green spaces. That means that SC22 attendees will have a varied selection of restaurants for lunch and dinner within easy access of the convention center, or just a great space to go take a break during the day. Combine our world-class technical program and exhibition with this new downtown Dallas area, and I think we've got a winning location for SC22.
It sounds really wonderful. I think that those pieces, thinking about the logistics of making sure there are enough restaurants, things like that, I think it's really important for the actual attendees that are here, because it can get a little overwhelming if you don't feel like you have a place to go eat.
Oh, it's all about the attendee experience, and we want it to be the best they can have.
Absolutely, I can appreciate that. So your theme for the SC22 is HPC Accelerates. How did you arrive at that? Well,
as HPC research and use cases are proving every day, the digital economy is moving at breakneck speed. Never before have we had to ramp up scientific research as quickly as we did at the onset of COVID-19. We know that HPC is the fuel that is powering this turbo-changed, rapid-powered world, and it's the reason these changes can happen at scale. From publishing the genomic sequence of the virus and making that instantly available around the globe, to modeling, simulating, and sharing results of research that led to production of vaccines in record time, HPC was the key to fast-tracking development efforts that gave us tools to combat this fierce and deadly virus.
Such important work. Any other reasons that went into your decision, or did that cover it pretty much?
Well, another reason is, we live in a world where things are just changing. Yeah. And what we are used to is suddenly different. For an example, extreme weather conditions. So HPC is offering us new ways of applying simulation and data analytics to produce short-term weather forecasts faster than ever before. I mean, forecasts used to take a lot of time, days, and now we can make updates through new technology, new techniques. Sometimes we can do that in minutes, and think about that, minutes. And the time saved can lead to more timely warnings that can prevent deaths and injuries from natural disasters. So, I think you can see that speed serves as the foundation for HPC, and it'll be at the forefront of our industry over the next year as several exascale systems come online. So it's fitting that speed also serves as the foundation for SC22.
Interesting. I think that's a fascinating concept. I know a lot of people were talking about the science and beyond this year and hoping that that beyond piece would continue, and I think it will with the speed piece for sure. So you mentioned COVID, of course, which is a topic that's on everyone's mind, especially when it comes to conferences. How will SC22 be addressing COVID?
Charla, the SC22 Planning Committee is a great group of seasoned professionals. However, the pandemic is unrelenting at surprising us, even as we continuously understand more. So we're factoring the changing virus landscape into our planning. We're planning for an in-person conference in Dallas that also has a digital experience. We're finalizing details, and we'll share more information in a few months, closer to the opening of registration next summer. But I do want to take a moment here and give a big shout out to our exhibitors. The companies, universities, and government agencies who come and exhibit at SC help make our conference unique. We have an exhibit hall that is truly amazing and is the envy of many conferences. I mean, there have been years that when you go into the exhibit hall, you feel like you're standing in Times Square. There's, so much information and content, and everybody is walking by. It's like, hey, hi, and it's party, it's fun, it's exciting.
Yeah.
So our exhibitors, bless them, have continued to support SC through the twists and turns of this pandemic. They pivoted to online booths last year when the conference went totally virtual, and they bought space and planned exhibits for St. Louis. Sadly, we're still at a point this week where there are some travel restrictions that are in place, so not all the exhibitors could join us on the ground here in St. Louis, and we miss them.
Yeah.
But we sincerely appreciate their efforts to try and be here, and we'll do what we can from the planning side to help them all get to Dallas. Pandemic willing, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you said, it always has a way of surprising us, for sure. How can the SC conference, on a different topic, help people advance their careers? We'll just talk about what do people get out of this?
Well, that's a great question, Charla. First off, I want to stress that everyone is welcome at SC. We strive for a conference environment that is inclusive and welcoming for all. Some of the things we do are having sessions focused on diversity and inclusion in the tech industry. Some of the other things that we do is provide a quiet room for meditation or just decompressing to get away from the hustle and the bustle. We plan to have on-site daycare services available. We can do physical accommodations like wheelchair seating. Folks just need to let us know when they register that they have a requirement or a need. So for instance, maybe an attendee needs an interpreter or hearing assistance. Well, they can signify that to registration, and then someone can reach out to them before the conference. We do need a little time to plan.
For sure.
But we can get these services into place, and we can do our best to work with attendees to facilitate reasonable accommodation requests.
Yeah.
So, now, back to your question of how the SC conference can advance your career. The beauty of SC is the folks who attend it love to talk tech, and they love to share their knowledge.
Yeah.
And just like HPC is accelerating, you can meet people who share your interests and make those connections that can advance and accelerate your career. Whether it's helping you find answers to your technical problems or meeting people to add to your professional network, and build out your contact and resource list. We plan to have a robust technical program with invited talks, paper presentations, panels, posters, a visualization showcase, and add-on workshops and tutorials. So the breadth and depth of the conference is really incomparable to anything else. And people can become involved in putting on the conference too, which is a very rewarding experience. Looks great on the resume too.
Absolutely. I can see that. If someone wants to become involved in participating in the conference, like you said, it offers a great resume item for them. What do they need to do? Do they need special skill sets? How does someone get involved?
Well, for a special skill set, I'd say enthusiasm.
I like that.
And we get plenty of that. So people who want to volunteer, well, first of all, let me talk about tech program.
Yeah, please. Sorry, I cut you off on that.
Anybody can submit to the many different areas of the technical program, or they can even sign up to be a conference volunteer, because we always need hundreds of presenters and volunteers. So, also, like, if you like to dive into the technical side of things, another way to get involved is to volunteer to work on SciNet. For those who don't know what SciNet is, every year, industry, academia, and government experts volunteer to design, build, and administer the cutting-edge infrastructure that provides fast, reliable internet connectivity for conference attendees and exhibitors. So the SciNet volunteers spend months planning the network. Then they arrive 2 weeks prior to the conference and they start installing the network at the convention center. SciNet pushes the boundaries of networking technologies and innovations and also offers workshops, demos, and collaborative opportunities. But if being a presenter or doing a volunteer isn't really your thing, you can consider signing up to be part of our mentoring program. Students at all levels, postdocs, and others early in their careers really appreciate a chance to chat one-on-one with a seasoned pro. So whether you're a young person looking for some wise advice, or you've been in HPC a while and you have lessons learned to share, the mentoring program might be a way for you to be more engaged with the conference. This is a really short-term obligation for just a couple of hours during the conference week, but many people then continue these mentorships afterwards.
Super important. I love the mentorship idea. We've talked a lot about it with other guests this week. Mentorship, and then also I've loved speaking with the SciNet folks earlier in the week. Just the technology that they brought here and the sheer number of volunteers that they've got is really impressive. So.
It is. It really is.
And they're all just willing to work, a willingness and enthusiasm, like you said, which I think is really important. Anything else you want people to know about SC22 and what they might see if they come in person as opposed to participating in the virtual platform? Sure.
Well, so for one thing, SC is a big conference, and it can be a bit overwhelming. Folks may not be aware that we offer tips on our website for getting the most out of the conference, from what to wear to how to read the program. And we have a special website section targeted to first-time attendees. We also offer a first-timers session on Monday afternoon of the conference to help folks better understand how the conference is organized so they can make the most of their time there, knowledge-wise and socially. And it's a great place for first-timers to start making new friends and building their professional network. Our website is sc22.supercomputing.org. But you really raised an important point of what do you see if you come on site?
Yes.
And I would say when you're on site, it is total immersion. You're with people. You're seeing technology. They say that the vast majority of communication is nonverbal.
Yes.
And so then when you're in person, you can communicate at full bandwidth with everybody. And I know people missed it so much. So I say, if you can come on site, you get that rich, immersive experience, plus you get that serendipity of walking down the hall and suddenly you see someone you didn't know was here. And suddenly you're getting together, you know, what have you been doing? Well, I had this idea. So many collaborations have come out of SC from that in-person thing.
Yeah.
And I think that is a truly, truly unique aspect of being on site.
Absolutely.
So, and that kind of leads into another thing I want to say, which is all about building networks, both the professional human networks and SciNet. This is a hallmark of SC, and next year we will be continuing that tradition. We're looking forward to seeing everybody in Dallas next November.
It sounds like you've got a great conference planned, for sure. And I love that you mentioned the serendipity piece. Someone else I was talking to earlier this week was talking about just that, and how those organic conversations happen in the hallway that you just can't get on the virtual platform. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the digital experience is a really wonderful thing, and we're still exploring it. You know, we're testing stuff out. We're going to be tweaking. We're going to be changing. We're going to be learning, getting more comfortable, become more natural. But I still think in person, remember the old AT&T long distance is the next best thing to being there?
Yes.
And it was true. Before we had long distance, you know, we had letters or reunions, but hearing the voice of someone, it meant so much when I was a child growing up. And, you know, we all heard that slogan and we're like, yeah, but you had to be there.
Yeah, there's still nothing that replicates that experience of being in the same space with somebody.
Yeah.
And like you said, the nonverbal communication is so important.
It is.
So it's been wonderful to hear your plans for next year. Any particular highlights from the conference on a personal level for you this year? Anything that really stood out, a takeaway from? I know you've been really busy with your, duties as the chair for next year, but has there just been anything that stood out as a real takeaway this year for you?
Well, there are a lot of things, actually. I mean, I thought we had a delightful keynote. I really enjoyed Vince Cerf's talks.
Yeah.
And I like it when they can visualize very complex concepts so that they're accessible. I mean, you don't have to be a data analysis expert. It helps. but he really made a lot of things about the humanities and technology accessible.
Yeah.
I think our invited speakers are wonderful. I'm really impressed by the papers that have been submitted for both tracks of the Gordon Bell Prize. I mean, we're talking about some really incredible simulations at scale. And we have such a great community that they can read the papers and say, yeah, I get it, and here's my follow-up question. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just a sampling.
Yeah.
BOFs are great for reconnecting, and the papers, the panels, tutorials, watching people learning. I've been watching the students running around, they're learning. We had the workshops. I mean, and I've probably left something out, and that's
okay.
Not
Too many to pick a favorite, right?
But I mean, for me, it all comes down to I'm so glad to be here. I'm thankful to Bronis for making it happen, for us being here.
Yeah.
And he really deserves a lot of credit for leading us.
I totally agree. I was able to talk to Bronis last year on the virtual interviews that we did, talking about planning this year's conference and how many unknowns there were at that time.
Yes.
And to see it actually come to fruition has been really exciting for me, too. So, I think Bronis did a fantastic job, he and his team.
And I want to thank everyone who came here because, they make it happen.
Right.
SC comes from us, it arises from us, we make it happen together.
I love
There's
that.
a part for everybody.
I love that. Anything else to add, Candy, before we wrap up?
Well, I'll just say that I'm super excited for next year, and I want to say Dallas, SC22.
Excellent. All right, one more little curveball to you. What did you want to be when you grew up, when you were a child?
Theater critic.
A theater critic. That is the first this week that I've heard. Interesting.
I love
do you love theater?
I did amateur musicals. I played in the orchestra. I sang on stage. I made costumes. I was director's assistant, prop master, house manager. I loved it.
That's fantastic.
I really did.
Have any of those skills helped you with what you do now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, live theater is so exciting because anything can happen.
It's true.
And you keep going.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just stop. So yeah. But I love that, and I just love the richness of what humans create. Watching old movies and then going, you know, live theater, when you're in the audience and there's like a world famous artist on stage and they're creating art right in front of your eyes.
It's pretty amazing,
it's
isn't
incredible.
it?
Yeah.
Of course, as an actor myself, I have an affinity for all of that as well. So thank you. That's a fun thing to know about you.
Yep.
Thanks for sharing it.
Sure.
All right, thank you, Candy, and we'll hopefully see everyone in person next year.
Yep.
All right.
Great.
For those of you watching, stay tuned for the latest in high-performance computing from SC21 TV. Make sure to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please do plan to attend SC22 in person if it's possible for you in Dallas next November. I'm Charla Bokikio.